Since I started driving an automatic transmission vehicle, I've always had the fear of a battery going bad on me and leaving me stranded in the middle of nowhere, especially during the cold months. This fear is quite a potent one and has led me to always have a charged portable jumper in the trunk of my vehicle. So when Ancel reached out and asked if I could review the BA101 battery tester, I said yes, knowing that a lot of vehicle owners share this fear with me. I was even more excited when it came to my attention that the battery tester had a quick test function that could easily analyze the health of a battery in seconds, even if the battery wasn't rated in cold crank amps or wasn't a starter battery to begin with. Using only the amp hour metric, I was eager to see how the tester would perform. Immediately I got the Ancel BA101 battery tester. I went to work testing all the batteries around me, from the starter battery in my daily driver to the deep cycle batteries providing backup power for my home security system. To say I was impressed is an understatement. I was positively wowed. The Ancel BA101 battery tester comes standard in a biodegradable pack, and in it were the battery tester, user manual and cable for printing out results should you please. I loved the red color immediately, saying that the unit is small and may likely be misplaced in a standard work environment. The scanner easily fit into my hand and I could easily use the other hand to connect the clamps or do whatever it was I wanted, which was very cool. The Ancel BA101 battery tester primarily tests battery health, offers cranking test, which tests your starter to see how efficient it is, and of course has charging test capabilities, especially for testing the alternator if it's doing what it should. More of this in a moment. But why own a battery tester in the first place? First, it makes perfect sense to use an OBD2 scanner when you are buying a used car to avoid investing money in a bad car. The same logic is what holds true if you are interested in buying a battery, starter or not. Batteries lose their precious service life simply sitting on the shelves and waiting for you to purchase them. And if a purchase does not occur for the first 6 months after they are produced, they begin to degrade, especially if they are not periodically charged. If you make the mistake of buying such batteries, even though they may start your vehicle, you'll be back for another battery sooner than later. Second, if you have many cars or manage a fleet, a good battery tester lets you periodically check the health of the starter batteries under your various hoods and gets you prepared to avoid any challenges down the line. Third, if you live in a cold climate, a battery tester is non-negotiable, as it helps you isolate a battery that simply needs to be charged due to extreme temperature drops or a unit that is legitimately going bad. Finally, a battery tester helps with eliminating fake batteries where they exist. Remember, some batteries in the market are labeled falsely and rated for what they are not. With a battery tester, you'll be able to avoid such batteries and pick only the real deals. The first step in battery testing using the Ancel BA101 battery tester is to get the rating or spec of the battery right. Usually for a starter battery, this would be the cold cranking amps rating. However, there are many other alternative battery ratings that may accompany the CCA rating or exist in isolation of it, the amp hour and European norm being some of the most popular. Testing a starter battery that is still connected to a car's system is easy with this battery tester. Simply clamp on the respective battery terminals and follow the prompts on the screen, choosing at least one battery grading metric for the tester to work with. Generally, the cold crank amps CCA, the European norm EN, and the Japanese industrial standard GIS are the most common standards. The quick test option relies strictly on the amp hour AH rating of a battery, starter or not, and brings forth results about the state of health of the battery in mere seconds. It also gives you a summary of the health of your battery, whether or not the battery is in the vehicle. The crank test checks the starter to see how good it does in starting the car. A good starter should crank up quickly and power a vehicle. However, a unit that is going bad will likely drag, in which case it becomes obvious that the delay isn't from the starter battery. This test is carried out by connecting the tester, selecting the option and cranking up the vehicle, and then taking the reading offered. The charging test, like the crank test, is the Ancel's BA101's way of testing the alternator to ensure that it is providing enough voltage, especially around the 2500 to 3000 RPM mark, which is where normal driving conditions usually happen. The Ancel battery tester provides an option for testing the battery not connected to a car too. Bench testing is as simple as connecting the clamps to the right battery terminals and using either the quick test approach or using any of the standards the battery is rated for. Either way, results populate in seconds and you get exactly what you've been looking for. I've not been lucky with new starter batteries. Most of the units I buy last just about 2 years and then come to the end of their service life. So when I got this tester, the first thing I did after testing my daily driver was drive down to the battery shop where I buy my batteries and test the batteries there. As seen, this battery is still good, but won't be so for long, for it has about a third of its useful life already sliced out. This unit, though brand new and never used, is already bad, and though it might start your vehicle, you will be looking to change it sooner than later. Something tells me deeply that most of the units I've been buying fall under this class. To check if this battery tester will work with any batteries other than starter batteries, I decided to test the 200 ampere deep cycle batteries that I have installed as backup for my home security system. Not surprisingly, I received a summary that I needed to replace the batteries, which doesn't exactly come as a surprise, given that I've had the batteries for a while. I was also curious and compared the values I got with a BA101 with a multimeter, especially where voltage was implicated. I wanted to know how this battery tester compares to a standard voltmeter reading, and I was shocked at the accuracy it offered. Take a look for yourself. The Ancel BA101 came with a cable and has an option to print the results it generates onto a sheet of paper. The drivers to make this happen are downloadable from the Ancel website. However, I don't see the need for this, so I didn't bother with that testing route. I'll rather take a quick photo, and if I need to show someone else, send a taken photo instead. The Ancel BA101 is a small, inexpensive battery tester that offers way more value than it costs. On the first use, it's likely to have paid off for itself twice or even more, coupled with the fact that it's capable of testing not only starter batteries but also special purpose batteries like deep cycle batteries. Whether in a vehicle or on the bench, this is one tester I firmly believe every driver should have somewhere in their garage and test their batteries once in a while. If you would love to check the battery tester out, which you should by the way, the direct purchase link is in the description below. I hope this review served you and was what you were looking for. If you'd love to see more of my reviews and auto DIY repairs, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and importantly, enable notifications so that you don't miss anything. As always, drive responsibly, rent safely, and importantly, always invest in good auto diagnostic tools.